Our next guest is a true Renaissance man, that is for sure. He's an actor, he's a musician, an animal lover, and now a podcast pioneer. Please welcome to our home the amazing Dennis Quaid. Welcome, Dennis.
Hey, thank
We're
you for
very
being
happy
here.
to have you, man.
Here.
Yeah, you brought your guitar, which we'll get to in a little bit. But here's the thing, we've been talking about this. You have had such an incredible career. You've been busy for many, many years, for decades really, but really the last few months you've stepped it up to a new level, keeping super busy. You've got a lot going on, but we're gonna start with the great platform that you've created for podcasts. It's called Audio Up. Tell us about this.
Audio Up. Yeah, I'm not a human being, I'm a human doing it. That's what I've always
Oh, I love that.
kind of done all my life. I like to have a lot of things going on, and we've started this new platform, which is really kind of a movie studio for your ears, I guess, in the fact that instead of doing one podcast, which we did 2 years ago, my partner and I, Jared Goodstadt, did a podcast called Bear and a Banjo. It was a music podcast.
Nice.
And it was the first podcast to launch a record ever.
Oh, how
And
cool.
that was with Pooh Bear and Bob Dylan and T-Bone Burnett.
Whoa, those are big. That's a big deal.
Those are, yeah.
are
Especially
your
the Bob
buddies.
Dylan part, right? So anyway, we made a story around a record, which was really, in a way, kind of bringing back the concept album. And it went to number 2. It was number 2 music podcast. And from that, we got the idea, well, let's start a studio. And because nobody was really doing it, there are a lot of the outlets, they do other things besides doing podcasts. And so we got to work in there, and now we have 18 that are in production.
Really great
headed
stuff.
towards 25.
And one of them happens to be yours, which is in a second season, the Dennisance,
Yes, that was the flagship.
where you and your buddies
that.
sit around and talk.
Yeah. So the first thing, of course, is a talk show, which is my talk show called the Dennisance, and I usually talk to people that I've known in my life that I find fascinating, or that I'd like to meet, that I find fascinating, and I've really had a blast with it. It's I approach it from the idea that, well, when I'm researching a role, like to play Doc Holliday or an astronaut or Jimmy Morrison, the Rookie, or whatever, I like to meet them and get to know them and find out what makes them tick. And that, to me, is the most interesting part of making a movie. And so I bring that approach to the talk show.
It's such a great point, because a lot of the interviews that you might have in different places have to be so quick, and your long form interviews can go into those areas in a way that a lot of interviews can't. And one of the recent episodes was the Parent Trap reunion.
that was
Everybody loves you in the Parent Trap. 22 years, if I'm not mistaken, since you guys have all gotten together.
Yeah.
And when you did, you realized that you just have so many fond memories still of that experience. Tell us.
Yeah, there was, I hadn't seen most of them since we wrapped, in fact.
Wow.
And it was just great to see everybody get back together again. And it was just a great feeling.
It's
It was
still
really fun.
one of the greatest movies ever made. I mean, honestly, it still holds up today. My little girl's 5 years old, and we saw it over the summer for the first time, and she was just absolutely in love with this movie.
It gave me another career. I went from playing bad boys to being king of the carpool line.
So true.
So
You were the dad of the year.
I love that movie.
All the kids, you became the new hero for sure.
Yeah, Natasha Richardson was not there, of course. She passed, but we all spoke of her as well and had her in our hearts.
Yeah. Well, besides the Dennisance, besides your reunions, you're also, I mean, you're very busy.
Well,
you're making music.
We have a lot of other podcasts that are coming off of Audio Up. We have one that's called Uncle Drank, which is it's going to be sort of a la South Park, and we could see it actually becoming an animated show about this Gulf and Western star who wakes up after a bender of 30 years and remembers who he is and wants to get his career growing again. But we have that and another show, which is Make It Up As We Go, coming out next month, and that is it's kind of a reality show slash drama of a girl who goes from Amarillo, Texas, to Nashville to make it, and all the pitfalls and everything that happened there. Miranda Lambert is part of
Wow.
it.
It's amazing.
Miranda just really liked the story. It reminded her of her own story and wanted to be a part of it as the mentor part.
Well, I know you're also doing stuff with animals. We love animals around here.
Yeah, we got the
And
Pet Show.
The Pet Show podcast, which you're also
That's
hosting.
fun.
And I know that you
Really
have.
fun to do.
You've been an animal lover your whole life.
Yeah, and mostly a dog person, but there was this cat that shelter in Lynchburg, Virginia had named Dennis Quaid.
Just to
How
be
could you
clear,
turn
the
that
cat's
down?
name was Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, they named it Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
And I'm out to save all the Dennis Quaids of the world. The cat was on death row. And
You're amazing.
we flew there and got Dennis Quaid.
And I don't know if you know this, but Dennis Quaid the cat has become quite the superstar. He's
got
had
his
some
own
major
show.
film roles.
He signed a TV deal
Yeah, look at that.
just right there.
Look
Yeah.
at this,
The
also
rookie.
film star.
Did you miss that? He's a big
That is
deal.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember
is
this one?
Far left. Can you see the far left there?
Right, yes.
He was unbelievable.
But
But
Fittings just shows up everywhere.
yeah, I will say, listen, I have been a
That is
fan of his
good.
work. I've been following him for some time now, but there is one movie in particular that he really stole every single scene. And Cameron, I love you, and you know I love your
Yeah.
work. But
Yes.
he starred in a movie with Cameron and our good friend Lacey Chabert recently. This one's Here Comes Santa Paws, and
Yeah. I gotta say,
he's the cat's meow, Cam. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
it was a little humbling to get upstaged by Dennis Quaid, the cat.
Yeah.